So today is all about MetaQuest 3. I'm going to go over the design of the headset, whether the Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2 really does make your old games look that much better, and what's it like to play the games that have been enhanced specifically for this headset. Then we're going to be diving into some mixed reality. I'm going to show you some gameplay and talk about my thoughts about pass-through. Then I'm going to talk about what it's like to use the MetaQuest 3 for PCVR. So firstly, let's talk about what you get in the box. The box is absolutely tiny, by the way. I received the 128 gig model, but I will be getting the 512 very soon. And the main reason for this is currently the system uses 18 gigabytes of the 128 gig available. And I'm so worried about the games getting larger over time. So maybe the 128 will cover me for a little while, but I'll definitely need to upgrade very soon. Inside the box, obviously you get the headset. You get two of the new touch controllers. Both of these controllers come with brand new AA batteries, a plug that is specific for your region, and a USB-C cable. Now, when it comes to the connections on the headset, you've got a USB-C on the left and an auxiliary port on the right. The stereo speakers that are for 3D spatial audio are 40% louder than Quest 2. You've got two RGB cameras delivering full color high fidelity views of your surroundings, provides over 10% more pixels in pass-through compared to Quest 2 and 3 times more pixels compared to Quest Pro. It also has a depth sensor, giving you accurate depth, projection and room mapping. For those of you who get the charging dock, there is 3 pins on the bottom to connect that to, and there's also a roller on the bottom right to adjust your IPD, and it ranges from 53 to 75 millimeters. MetaQuest 3 has 2 LCD displays at 2064 by 2208 pixels per eye, combined with Meta's infinite display optical stack, which gives you an increased resolution of 30% compared to MetaQuest 2. The display refresh rate is 90 Hz, and there is 120 Hz, but it's called experimental, and the field of view is 110 degrees horizontal and 96 degrees vertical. Now, going back to the pancake lenses, it provides a 40% slimmer optical profile and increases sharpness by 25%. For those of you who wear glasses, you won't need a glasses spacer anymore with MetaQuest 3. Basically, there's a nice little slide system where you click on a button and there's 4 selections. You can adjust how close or how far away you want the lenses from your face. Then we have the Guardian system, which is now called the Boundary system, which is done by HANDTRACKING, and it automatically scans your environment. It knows where everything is just by looking around the room, and then you can add virtual objects like a door, a window, or this desk. I personally feel this is a massive improvement and the most advanced safety setup in any VR headset I've tried. So next up is out of the box comfort, and it's kind of a mixed bag for me. Unfortunately, the strap is very similar to Quest 2. It's quite rigid, but I think due to the Y shape and the entire balance of the headset being closer to your face, it does do a better job. So with this strap, you have to wear it over your ears. There's no other way for me personally with where my eyes and my head and ears are. I think the strap itself is good for what it's meant to be used for, which is 2 hours playtime. I can comfortably do an hour and a half in this headset. For most of you who are into playing VR for many hours, unfortunately, this strap will have to go eventually. And actually, I can't wait to put the Bobo M2 back on. Now, one thing I am happy with is actually the comfort of the face cushioning itself. Now, if any of you have got a Pico 4, that is like rubbing a brick on your skin. This is actually quite comfortable, and it depends on the day. The second day I had this headset, I was kind of not very happy with it, but then yesterday and today I've kind of got used to it. I'm kind of happy with it. It hasn't left any red marks on my face, but I also think it's because the weather's quite cool. That does have an impact if you're sweating or you're getting hot. So again, we might have to look for a replaceable solution, and I haven't got one yet. I've been sent some covers by VR Cover. I'm not too happy with them. I kind of feel at the moment what we've got here is good enough for now, but definitely stay tuned to the channel. I'm going to try and find you some really good accessories. And to finalize my overall thoughts on the design of the headset, I'm massively impressed with the balance. This is a fantastic headset to wear, but it's the balancing of it. When you've got it on, it just feels so much better than any other headset I've ever used. Now, one of the most important things with any VR headset is the controllers. Now, these are the Touch Plus controllers. And the main question a lot of people ask is, what are they like compared to the Quest Pro controllers? Because they actually have cameras on them for improved tracking. Now, these have 7 IR sensors built into them. They're very light. They feel excellent to use. So far, I've had a fantastic time with these, both in terms of comfort and tracking. It has been flawless. In the 4 days that I've been using this headset, I've had no issues at all with tracking. Now, in case some of you missed my other videos, these controllers now have a button press to release the battery cover. That means they won't be sliding off during gameplay. Now, I know some of you as well love hand tracking, and so far, the Quest 3 has given me the best hand tracking experience I've had in virtual reality and mixed reality. I've probably only had 1 or 2 moments where maybe my hands don't know what's going on, but that's over hours of testing. It's really impressive, it's very precise, and genuinely you can actually use it now. You can definitely navigate your menus and play games with hand tracking. So we're finally there. And I think that's mostly because of the depth sensor. So that leads into pass-through and Meta's new favorite thing, mixed reality. Without a doubt, it's the best I've ever used, and the more time I've spent with it and being able to control my lighting, which is a massive part of how good the pass-through is, it's a pretty good experience. I've been playing games in this room in mixed reality, and honestly, it's good enough to trick the brain. Is it completely clear? No, but I would say the videos you're seeing now are a very good representation of what the quality is like. As before, like on Quest Pro, it kind of looked better in the videos than what it does now. So I set up the Quest 3 using my mobile phone in pass-through. I then checked out some Netflix, I text some people. You can do all that stuff, and because of the depth sensor, when you reach out for something, it's exactly where you think it's going to be, and that is a massive difference. And I think that's what makes mixed reality this time works so much better than any other headset. Do I think Apple Vision Pro will be better than Quest 3? Yes, I absolutely do. But for a consumer grade headset at this money, this mixed reality experience is really very good. And I've had a great time. I've been playing Aspire, Cubism, Trackcraft. Trackcraft has actually been one of my favorite games. I played that for way too long while testing this headset. There's also a game from iLlusions called BAM, which is an online multiplayer and local multiplayer mixed reality game. We did play it at Connect. It was really good fun. Unfortunately, no one's online at the moment, but it's kind of like Robot Wars in mixed reality, but it has game modes, Pass the Bomb, like a King of the Hill kind of mode. There's also weapons for your robots to collect. I haven't really played a lot of the game to earn any unlocks and stuff, but it actually shows a lot of promise. Aspire was pretty cool as well. There was basically lasers going through my room that I had to dodge. There was computers to decrypt, and a massive window opened up in my wall, and through that wall was Aspire, and I was basically putting all the guards to sleep. And one of my favourite music games of all time is actually Synth Riders. This in mixed reality was absolutely awesome. How does mixed reality make your games better? Do you find it more immersive to have video games come into your world? Personally, I love it. I love mixed reality. I completely see though why people still are like, does it really matter? Drop Dead Cabin was really cool because you map the window and then they basically broke through my actual window and the door. There's also a game called First Encounters, which has been my favourite way to demo mixed reality to my family. Basically, a spaceship comes down and you've got to shoot at the little coloured balls, and the more of the same colour you get, the higher the score you get. And they're just having a great time. Again, these aren't games that are going to sell the headset. But when you get the headset, these are the games that you can demo the headset with to show them that, one, VR isn't scary. You know, wearing a VR headset now, because of mixed reality, being able to see the people around you in pass-through, it's not claustrophobic. I think that's one of the big things when people put a VR headset on, they are literally cut off from the world, as mixed reality stops that. It's a really great introduction into a VR headset. None of these games at the moment are what I would call real games. You know, they're not something that you would buy as a standalone product for mixed reality. And that's why they're all add-ons currently. It's to show you the tech, it's to demo it, it's to prove that it's got legs. Now, before I get into talking about how the Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2 affects gaming on Meta Quest 3, I want to quickly talk about the UI and how much better it is to use now because of the extra power available. With Quest 2, it seemed like the more updates they pushed to the headset, the slower everything got, and the more cumbersome it was to basically just switch up things. Recordings were getting worse. With Quest 3, everything runs really, really fast, and it's a real joy to use the UI again. Now, as part of this review, I was given early access to 3 or 4 games that have been enhanced for Quest 3. Unfortunately, Saints and Sinners isn't part of this, which is one of the ones that a lot of people are getting hyped for with the side-by-sides, but I was given Red Matter 2, Hubris, Into the Radius, and they all look much better, but some look much better than others, and I want to say that Red Matter 2 is still the standout graphical title on Quest 3. When you step into this for the first time in Quest 3, you cannot help but be completely blown away by the fidelity of this game. It really does look like high-end PCVR. Into the Radius looked so much more vivid and runs so much smoother. It was really great to just revisit that game. They've been dropping a lot of updates for that, so that's something I'm actually going to return back into now with Quest 3. Hubris was more of the one that it looked slightly better, but it didn't really jump out as me. Definitely not as much as Red Matter 2, unfortunately. And Aspire 2 looked a bit better again, a bit like Hubris, but not in leaps and bounds such as Red Matter 2. Now, I also understand updates like Saints and Sinners are what everyone are waiting for. They want to see not just new graphics, they want to see more NPCs, they want to see the worlds look more detailed and more shadows. And with the lack of launch titles, I think Red Matter 2 is the game that you're going to need to see to know what this headset is currently, at least visually, capable of. Okay, on to the bit of the review that I think I've put the most amount of time into researching to give you guys a balanced review of what it's like to play Meta Quest 2 games on Meta Quest 3. Now, you got to understand, the pancake lenses are fantastic on this headset, and there is no screen door at all. And the games that used to look brilliant, such as Contractors, Resident Evil 4, Phantom Covert Ops, Breaches, Bone Lab, they look fantastic on this headset. There is still, I think, a lack of blacks, and maybe that's because I've got PSVR 2. The blacks are okay, like if the game is trying to project a solid black background, it looks good. But aside from that, sometimes the blacks can look a tiny bit washed out, but the colours are extremely vivid, and there is some slight glare from the pancake lenses, but it's the best glare that you can get, if that makes sense. It's just not that bad, but it does exist, but it doesn't matter too much. The games look really, really good. And I'm not just saying it. They look very good. They look so crisp and so sharp, and it makes you want to revisit a lot of your old library again. And bear in mind, there is a dynamic resolution increase, depending, I guess, on what sort of resources the game used in the first place. The extra clarity can kind of make some of the things that were hidden because of maybe a lower resolution and Fresnel lenses stand out a little bit more. But what I'm trying to say is, if the games looked great before and you thought they looked good on Quest 2, they look a lot better on Quest 3. Now I want to talk about using Meta Quest 3 as a PCVR headset. Some of you may or may not know that Meta Quest 3 is Wi-Fi 6 enabled, and I'm very lucky to have a Wi-Fi 6 router that I actually recently set up. And to be honest, I haven't been using virtual desktop. Basically, the Quest 2 just wasn't good enough. I'd get all sorts of frame stutters, and I just assumed that I kind of wasted my money. But that is not the case with Meta Quest 3. I could not believe how well it worked, and my router is actually on the other side of the house on a floor below. And I also tested using Oculus Link, and I actually think virtual desktop was better. I thought the performance was better, I thought the clarity was better, and it boggles my mind, the fact that that router is all the way on the other side of the house. But still, I think it's an incredible experience. Literally, my jaw dropped all over again, experiencing some of my favorite games on PCVR. And in PCVR, the blacks look really good. So I don't really understand what's going on with the Quest games versus PCVR games. The sharpness in this is brilliant. Going into Half-Life Alyx was absolutely fantastic. Playing Gunman Contracts was amazing. And seeing the blue all over again, which is one of those games, or experiences, should I say, which I use as kind of a benchmark, because I know it very well. I know what it looks like. And honestly, it just made my jaw drop. It's fantastic. And I have got a Pimax crystal. I've yet to really test it out. But overall, when you take into consideration the weight of this headset, the size of this headset, like the form factor, the lenses, for the money, if you just want a PCVR headset, the 128 model is brilliant. It's been absolutely brilliant, and I can't wait to play more PCVR games. I just hope there's more software to use in the future, because it's just beautiful. The graphics are so beautiful, and it makes you appreciate them all over again. Now, on to my summary of Meta Quest 3 overall. And the bottom line is, the Quest 3 is better in every way to Quest 2. Literally every way. I can't think of a downside to upgrading from Quest 2 to Quest 3. Then, is it better than Quest Pro? Yes, it is. The controllers are lighter, the headset's more comfortable, even in its current state with a head strap that we have out of the box. And yes, we don't have eye tracking and we don't have face tracking, but you have to admit, there just isn't enough apps to even justify having those technologies on MetaQuest at the moment. Sure, there's some games on PSVR 2 that are making really good use of eye tracking, but I just haven't really seen that. So I'm still waiting for the developers to really make use of it. And that's kind of where it is. That's kind of where it makes sense for the price that we're paying. You're getting the latest mobile chip in a fantastic headset with superb lenses, no screen door, and it is actually comfortable to wear because of the balancing. And then it also combines into a fantastic PCVR headset. Honestly, as I said a minute ago, it literally made my jaw drop all over again. So there it is, my full review. I really hope it answers all the questions for you. If you have any more questions, please put them down in the comment section. If you do want to buy the Quest 3, please consider using my affiliate link down in the description and in the comments, and I will see you all on the next video.